we saw the whole historical background, and then towards the end we were doing the final voyages of Guru Nanak. Now, which are the 4 voyages that he undertook? First one was for the east, and where did he go? Right up to Assam, then south. So it was through Tamil Nadu right up to Ceylon. Then he went north, Ladakh and Tibet. And then finally he goes west as far as Mecca, Medina and Baghdad. And then we also said that he nominated one of his disciples, Angad, as his successor. Now, Angad's name was something different. It was a name he got after he became the Guru. That we will come to once we finish dealing with the teachings or the kind of contribution done by Guru Nanak. So, then we also see that Guru Nanak is the author of 974 hymns of the Adi Granth. And we also said that the first hymn of the Adi Granth is called Jap, or respectfully it is also called as Japji. Now, at the head of this Jap, you also have something which is very important. What is that? You have the Mul Mantra. Okay, so now this Mul Mantra is also said to be the fundamental creed. Okay, and it begins with Ik Onkar, and this means that there is one being. And therefore, as we said yesterday, this statement then follows the nature of God in beautiful stanzas using various images, poetic images that speak of God in a way that is beyond human conception. So now let's take a look at the Japji Sahib, the foundational hymn. So as we've already seen, this was one of the first hymn in the Adi Granth. And in this way, it is supposed to be the cornerstone of both Sikh prayer and their philosophy. So it occupies a very important part in the whole Sikh religion. And as we have seen, this is in a way composed of 38 stanzas. Okay, this is recited daily by devout Sikhs. So you have 38 stanzas, and these 38 stanzas then end with a sloka or a verse. Now let's look at the Mul Mantra, which is right at the beginning of the Japji. So as we have already seen, it is the fundamental creed of Sikhism, which has its main belief, main ideals. And therefore, this is concise. That means it's very precise. At the same time, it is profound. It's a profound declaration of the nature of God, and therefore we can say that it is one of the foundational beliefs of the Sikh faith. So therefore the Ik Onkar with which it begins means there is one being, or God is one. And therefore we see that this phrase in itself speaks a lot. Okay, what does it indicate? This statement, there is one being or God is one. What do we understand by this statement? Can we get an idea about the religion or about their beliefs through this statement? Okay, so in a way we can say that all are one. Then anything else? Okay, so moving towards eternal truth. Anything else? We can also speak of it in terms of a monotheistic belief. Okay? Monotheism is what? One God, right? So therefore, whether you belong to any religion, there is one God. All of us are going to the same God. It is just different ways that are taken to reach to the same. And here also they speak of the belief in a singular, as we have said, also formless, okay, and eternal God, who is creator and sustainer of the universe. So you can already see here how in different religions belief of God tends to change slightly, right? In Jainism there was no concept of creator God. Here we see that God is eternal, He is the creator and as well sustainer of the universe. Yeah, I mean there are a lot of, in a way, monotheistic religions generally tend to have that kind of a belief. So now let's take a look at the Mul Mantra. So this is how it is, okay? Ik Onkar, Sat Nam, Karta Purak, Nirbhay, Nirvair, Akal Murat, Ajuni, Sabang Gur Prasad, Jab At Sach, Jugad Sach Hai, Be Sach Nanak, Ose Be Sach. Now what we'll do is we'll take a look at each of these terms and what it translates to. Okay? So Ik Onkar, as we have already seen, there is only one God or one being. Then you have Sat Nam, his name is Truth, or he is the true one. Then you have Karta Purak, he is the creator. Nirbhay, he is without fear. Nirvair, without hate. Akal Murat, beyond time. Then he is Ajuni, that is self-existent. Sabang, beyond birth and death. Gur Prasad Jap, that we are supposed to meditate on his name. At Sach, Jugat Sach, for he was when time began, he has been true for ages. So this again speaks about the creator concept of God. Then you have Hai Be Sach, he is still true. Nanak Jose Be Sach, that Guru Nanak says he will forever be true. And in this way we see that there is a description of their belief in God. All the qualities in a way that one God, truth, he is the creator, he is without fear, he is without hate, and therefore we see that this very concept is seen in their day-to-day dealings, as you have the whole concept of having equality and not having divisions, right? Then also he is beyond birth and death, self-existent. You are supposed to meditate on his name. He has been true for ages, still true, and forever will be true. So now here we see that we can also look at some of the attributes of God. So first is Satnam, and here this refers to the true name, which indicates that God's name is eternal plus truthful. Then you have Karta Purak, which means the creator. So what does this signify? God is the creator of everything. Then you have Nirbhao, which means without fear. And this means that God is fearless, or he is beyond fear. Nirvair again speaks about without enmity, which means that God has no enemies, and therefore he is without any malice. Okay, so there is no evil, there is no malice in God. Therefore, you have God's name is eternal and truthful. He is the creator of everything, fearless or beyond fear. He has no enemies and is without any malice. Then you have the Akal Murat, which refers to the timeless, form. And this basically indicates that God is beyond time. Hence, eternal. Ajuni refers to unborn. Therefore, God does not take birth, nor does he die. Again, speaking about the eternal concept of God. Then you also have the Saibang, which we have seen is self-existent. That God exists by himself, therefore he is independent of any other being. And therefore Guru Prasad refers to Guru's grace. That means to have a perfect understanding or realization of God, you need to have the grace of the Guru. So any understanding of God, realization of God can only come through the Guru's grace. So these are some of the descriptions of the attributes of God which are there in the Mul Mantra. Now it is necessary for us to also look at the Jap or the Japji. What do those stanzas also tell us about? Okay, not in so much detail, but we'll just take an overview. So first and foremost, we see that they explore the nature of God and also in a way speak about what is the path required to spiritual realization. So how can you actually ultimately understand or have a realization of the divine, or how you can reach the divine? So we see that these stanzas, there are a lot of metaphors that are used, there are a lot of poetic imagery. So it is in a way well written, and it in a way tends to give a sketch of divine reality, which in a way transcends our understanding. So in a way we cannot totally grasp the divine. Okay, we cannot totally understand what is happening in the divine reality. But in a way here we see that through the use of poetic imageries, through the use of metaphors, they have in a way tried to give a description or tried to in a way attempt a sketch of the divine reality, understanding of God. So we also see that here often images are used from the daily life. For example, he speaks of the vastness of the universe. Then also he speaks about the omnipresence of God. And also human limitation in understanding God. So this Japji or the Japji Sahib, it in a way invites, okay, the followers or the believers to meditate on God's name, then also to live a truthful life, and of course the ultimate goal is of merging one's soul with the divine, or you can say encounter with the divine. Okay, so these are some of the kind of things that are mentioned in the Japji, which invite the believers to meditate, live a truthful and a very righteous life with the ultimate goal of having an encounter with the divine. So next, there are also other hymns apart from the Japji Sahib. Guru Nanak also wrote many other hymns, okay, and these are known as shabds or pads. Okay, so these are known as shabds or pads, and again we see that there are a wide number of themes that are covered by these shabds or these hymns. Now these include devotion, also you have on ethics, they also cover themes like social justice and also nature of the divine. And therefore these are very simple, known for their simplicity, direct to the point, and also have a lot of depth and meaning. So therefore his hymns also make use of a lot of metaphors and poetic figures, and this was in a way quite common in the poetry of that time. Okay, so as we have also seen in Christianity, okay, is there an example that we can find? Psalms is one, but when we go to the New Testament, can we look at some of the imageries? Can we see imageries being used? Okay, parables, good. Anything else? Today, what was it about? Yeah, but what was the imagery used? Whitewashed tombs. Okay, so therefore we see by using images that are part of the everyday life of the people, it helps them to connect. They know, they have seen it, they have had an experience with it. Same thing over here. So you had everyday images being used in the poetry, in the hymns, in the devotional songs, and therefore we see that this helped the people to understand or better comprehend their divine. So also we see that this also poetry reflects cultural exchange, and this is because of his various voyages that he took. Okay, so encounter with different culture, also integrating those elements into the poetry, into the devotional hymns. So one instance we can see, that is, he used the metaphor of the human soul as the bride which is longing for union with the spouse. Okay? And this is the divine. So how the soul longs to be united with the divine or to have an encounter with the divine. Once again, do we have anything similar like this in the Bible? Okay, that is a parable, okay. Anything, something which is very direct, very much, very, very close to this. Okay, church is this thing, Christ is the, church is this thing. Now, Saint Paul also says, but anything more direct in this thing, Bible? Somebody said something? Song of Songs, right? We haven't, anybody? Song of Songs? No, not wisdom, but the Song of Songs are there, which basically speak about which in a way is quite deep also, deep romantic. Okay, so during spiritual reading, can have a look at that also. Okay, so now we need to look at the language and the linguistic contributions. So we see that, as we said earlier, there was this move to go towards the vernacular, to go towards the native language. Why was that? Because it helped people to understand things better, rather than, for example, even in the Catholic Church, initially, how were the teachings or how were the scriptures in Latin? Now, what happens when everything is in Latin? So, first and foremost, there are only few who have mastered the language, okay, and therefore, if you want to understand something, you have to depend on them, right? Now suppose if you want to say that, okay, I want to understand for myself, what you have to do? You should learn the language, and therefore you would spend another 3-4 years in order to master the language. Only then you will be able to learn the truth or learn what exactly is written. Now when things are translated in the language that you already know, of course, some may say, yes, everything is not translated as it is. That is why still now people are studying the languages like Greek, Hebrew in order to understand what was written earlier. Yes, that is there, but majority, at least 90%, we know what is written. So therefore, for the common masses, okay, for whom the faith is important, for them we see that the vernacular languages or the local languages were very important. And therefore, by having things in the local language, it made a big difference in the lives of the people. So therefore, the language that was used by Guru Nanak was in a way an early form of Punjabi. Okay, somewhere closely related to old Hindi. Now this language that was used by him was called as Sant Bhasha, which is the language of the saints. Now this was a kind of a blend of various dialects. Now what are dialects? Language, of course, dialects are in language, but what, now when we say that there are different dialects to this particular language, variations we can say, different ways how it is spoken, how it is, how people use it. So this in a way was a blend of various regional dialects, okay, and also various languages, which included Punjabi, Hindi, then you have Braj Bhasha and Persian. So in a way, this was a blend of various dialects and various languages like Punjabi, Hindi, Braj Bhasha and Persian. Now, as we have said earlier, by using a language that is easily understood by the people, he ensured that the teachings reached the wide majority of the people. So even a person who may not have been that educated, person was able to learn certain things about God or learn certain things about the faith in his own mother tongue. And as a result of it, we see that these teachings had kind of widespread, they were widespread, they reached a wide audience, and also they transcended both linguistic and cultural barriers. So we see that now you were able to understand things in your own mother tongue, in your own local language. Now another important aspect of this was also, it was a kind of a break from the dominance of Sanskrit. And therefore Sanskrit in a way was the language of religious scholarship and also the language in which all the rituals were performed in Hinduism. And therefore by having hymns, by having the devotions in the local language, it was accessible to all, whether so regardless of social or educational background. So therefore here we see that the local languages made it accessible to anybody without any social educational background. They were easily able to in a way understand the teachings and in a way understand the concept of the divine. Now in short, when we look at the whole life of Guru Nanak, there are certain points which we need to remember. So first, as we have said, he had a profound impact on Sikhism, and his compositions included the Guru Granth Sahib, which is the holy scripture of Sikhism, and later on we will see that it was in a way compiled by the 5th Sikh Guru, Guru Arjan Dev. Now we also see that this Guru Granth Sahib is one of the unique texts because it also has writings not only of the Sikh Gurus but also of the Hindu and Muslim saints, which reflect the universal message of Guru Nanak. Apart from that, we also see that there is a lot of poetic and philosophical depth and emphasis on practical aspects. And what are these practical aspects? Is oneness of God equality of all people, and also importance of righteous living. Okay, and therefore all this remains a very important aspect of Sikh identity. And therefore you can see that these practical aspects, particularly in those times where caste system was very strong, where people were being oppressed for being in the lower caste, it made a lot of sense. It was something as a new outlet for the people, that they had access to something which did not consider them as, not worthy of participating, and which emphasized on the equality as well as on oneness of everyone. Okay, so therefore these are some of the legacy or some of the things which were started by the first Guru, that is Guru Nanak. Now, as I said yesterday, there are 10 human spiritual leaders which they have. We have seen one. Okay, let us begin with the second one, that is Guru Angad. Now, when we look at Guru Angad, as we said, he is the second Guru, or the one who succeeded Guru Nanak in 1539, and he led the Sikh community until 1552. Now, as I said earlier, his real name was not Angad. Okay, his real name was Lena, and he was a devout disciple who belonged to the Kshatriya caste. Now, in a way, the selection of Guru Angad, or the selection of Lena as the successor of Guru Nanak, is very interesting, and at the same time it emphasizes certain important values. Now, which are they? It emphasizes humility, devotion and service, which are very important in Sikhism. So let's take a look at an event on how he was selected. So it is said that 20 days before his death, so Guru Nanak, he made a decision in order to choose his successor, to choose Lena as his successor. Now, Guru Nanak had 2 sons. So now they were Sri Chand and Lakshmi Das. Now we may ask, he had 2 sons, one of them could easily have become the successor, right? Now, the reason why he did not select his sons to succeed him, can anyone guess? Okay, not that time, it was not that strong. Okay, accepted by everyone is one thing, but then when you select somebody, there is something that you see in that person, right? Yeah, so in a way we see that Guru Nanak did not see his own two sons as fit for the spiritual mission. Okay. Now, both his sons, according to him, lacked in qualities such as humility, selflessness and dedication. Okay, which in a way were important to the spiritual journey. If you are not humble, if you are only thinking about yourself, not about others, you are not able to lead a community. Secondly, also you need to be dedicated and committed. So therefore, since he did not see this, he basically chose Lena. Now, there is a nice story of how Lena was chosen as the successor. Now, this is both in a way very illustrative and also shows the qualities that Guru Nanak wanted to see in his follower. So it is said that one day Guru Nanak was traveling and his jug, okay, so the jug that he was holding, it fell into the mud. Okay, now he asked his two sons to go and get it. But however, his sons were not willing to dirty themselves. Okay, it was in the mud, like kitchen over there. So he did not, his sons did not want to go there because why? The legs will get dirty, the clothes will get dirty. So they refused to go and collect the jug. At this time, we see that this Lena, without any hesitation, he immediately jumped over there, brought the jug out. Not only that, he cleaned it, okay, washed it nicely, filled it with good water and gave it to Guru Nanak. And this was an incident which made Guru Nanak think that yes, this is the one. Okay, he has all the qualities and he is the one who will be selfless, who will be committed and who will be able to lead the community. And therefore we see that this simple act of humility and service was in a way important. Why? Because it was also the test of his character, and we see that Lena passed it in flying colors. Okay, so let's stop for this. We'll continue the succession and his work in the next class. Thank you.